Hi guys, welcome back. Today we are going to talk about Deepseek Cyber Attack that shook the AI world. So, what happened and how could it have been prevented? Stay with me, we'll deep dive into the cyber attack that exposed the cracks in DeepSeek's armor. Last week, DeepSeek was number one on Apple App Store and it was directly challenging OpenAI models. Look at this. DeepSeek R1 is now live and open source, rivaling OpenAI's model O1. So they actually rivaling, and that's a open source this one, and OpenAI is actually a closed AI. I'll just show what happened with the Nvidia stocks just shook down, and that's what you can see on the Nvidia website as well. It's trying to recover and trying to get back into it. What happened to the other companies, and it made an impact on other companies as well. If you can see, it's DeepSeek's Sputnik moment. The Sputnik moment, if for the people who don't know about the Sputnik moment goes back to 1957 when there was a Cold War happening. United States was thinking that they are far superior in technology than Soviets, and suddenly Soviet Union sent a world's first ever artificial satellite into the space, and that moment referred to a sudden realization that another country has made a significant technological leap that caused USA to come into a sense of urgency and prompting to increase the investment in research and development to catch up, and that's pushed them to create NASA and so on. So that's called a Sputnik moment, and that Sputnik moment is being repeated by DeepSeek. It shook the whole USA and it made them to suddenly realize that another country has made a significant leap on AI. When the American company is spending billions and this DeepSeek spent only less than 6 million, and they could manage this. If someone could manage that with 6 million, what were they doing last 10 years with billions of dollars? That was a big question on it. So on January 27, 2025, DeepSeek's server came under siege. It wasn't just one attack, it was a carefully orchestrated assaults. I prepared some slides to go through, so let's jump into my slides. On January 25, 2025, initial DDoS wave targeting DeepSeek's API interface exactly on this particular IP address happened. For people who doesn't know about the DDoS attack, it's a cyber attack that floods a server or a website with internet traffic to make it inaccessible. Attackers use multiple IP addresses or machines to send requests to a target. The target's capacity will be consumed, making it unable to respond to legitimate requests. That's how they perform it. The target's performance is degraded or it becomes inaccessible. The escalation of attack with two new methods after DeepSeek switched its IP address. So initially they started with DDoS and then they escalated when the DeepSeek switched its IP address. So each attack was around 35 minutes to 1 hour, and the IP address was just going around most of the Europe actually, but the tops was like from US 20%, UK 17%, and Australia. These are the attack methods they followed. The reflection attack is a type of cyber attack where an attacker sends a request to a server with a spoofed source IP address, causing the server to send a response back to the targeted victim, essentially reflecting the traffic. While an amplification attack is a specific type of reflection attack where the response sent back from the server is significantly larger than the initial request, effectively amplifying the attack traffic directed at the target, making it much more potent. Both attacks often utilize spoofed IP address to hide the attacker's identity. That's what it happens. So UDP based amplification, attackers exploited vulnerability in the UDP based protocols which do not actually verify the source IP address where it is coming from. That's obvious, making them ideal. The attackers will be scanning the ports and scanning each and every available connections between on the target. The next one was the UDP based amplification and exploiting protocol vulnerabilities. When many UDP packets have their source IP address forged to the victim IP address, the destination server or the amplifier responds to the victim instead of the attacker, creating a reflected denial of service. That's DOS attack. In addition to those DDoS volumetric attacks, in addition to the volumetric attack, the attackers mimicked legitimate user behavior, focused on overloading API endpoints with excessive requests and exploiting vulnerabilities in DeepSeek's chat system. That's what the user facing. While battling the DDoS attack, DeepSeek also faced a serious security lapse involving an exposed database. Will you ever open up your DB and pose yourself as the number one AI provider in the world? A ClickHouse database was left publicly accessible on two URLs, allowing unauthorized access. There was no authentication, so it was very easy for them to go deep dive into it. There are news about some user data is also compromised from the database leaks. So what we take it from here? Well, open source is good actually. It is transparent, free, but it also allows attackers to study deep inside their architectures, and it is very easy to study their vulnerabilities, and that will lead them to attack in the right place. So leaving critical databases publicly accessible without authentication was a significant oversight. That was too bad. When this size of big company comes out in the market, you have to be ready with a disaster recovery plan as well.